What's up? Welcome back to JK Fishing. And today's video, we got some more service on our Yamaha Z150 TXRB. It's a 2003 two-stroke engine. Today we are going to be opening up the VST, the vapor separator tank. We have had issues with it bogging at high RPMs. In our last maintenance video, we changed the low pressure fuel pump and that didn't fix the problem. So we're working our way back all the way along the fuel line to the injectors. That's the last thing we'd ever look at. But in this video, we are going to be showing you how to take the vapor separator tank off of the engine block and opening it up. We'll show you guys the float inside of it, the pump, and what I think the issue is the screen. So we're going to show you all that inside the tank. So let's get to the video. So first up, we're going to drain the tank. Just take a flathead, pop the drain screw there. Pretty straightforward, just to get the gas out for later when we open it up, so gas doesn't spill out all over us, because there's quite a bit that holds inside the tank. Pop it back on and tighten by hand, and make sure with the flathead that it is tight so it doesn't leak when you go to run the engine later. Next up, we are going to remove this plate here. All bolts that we take off are 10 mil. There's 2 of them for this plate and then 3 for the VST. This plate, these bolts run through the tank, so you got to take them off. Next up, when we start removing hoses, there are a plethora of hoses that run into this tank. There is one for the fuel line that come from the fuel pumps. There is one from the fuel strainer. And there are a bunch of them with air. I didn't get into the schematics for this. You can look them up. I'll link it down below. It's through Crowley Marine for this specific model, and it's super helpful. But except for the one from the fuel pumps and the strainer, every other line is just air. So this one here, you can see I'm removing just air. Make sure when you remove them that you push them. You don't pull them with the needle nose. You push them like that. Then I started to take the VST off of the engine block. The 3 bolts each come with 2 washers on either side of a grommet. I took it off because to get at some of these hoses, it is easier if the tank's kind of hanging. Other than that, guys, just the electrical of the 2 wires are hanging above my left hand. Those I just took out of the connectors. Those power the pump inside the tank. As for the other miscellaneous lines, they're pretty straightforward to get off. Some of them have some small zip ties, and they're all for the pressure regulation in the tank. So just make sure there is the fuel line and the line from the strainer. Those are pressurized, and those are tough to get off. As you can see, I'm pointing to them right there. So we disconnected it. All these hoses, took a lot of photos of them to make sure. Kept all the bolts and washers. So let's open this bad boy up. First thing we're going to do here, guys, we are going to remove the top from the bottom. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 screws, I believe, on top. Take them off with a screwdriver. And there is a gasket as well along here. It's highly recommended you need to replace it after you open this tank, because the gasket will expand and you won't be able to fit it back in the crevice. So let's open this bad boy up. Recording? Yep. All right, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's only 8 screws, and on top there's going to be a float. I'm going to separate this. There's still a little bit of fuel in, so I have the rag. Unless there's one more screw I forgot about. No. Oh, look at that! The gasket stayed in. That's really nice. So there's that tank. And I think our filter is completely blocked. I don't know what to say. This looks like it's in pretty good condition. The rest, like the float and the pump, all looks to be in unbelievable condition. Oh, I'm really,
fingers crossed.
I'm really excited. Hopefully,
Oh yeah, that looks really clogged up.
hopefully it's this filter, guys. The filter just like twists off, but yeah, there's a little feel in there. Hopefully it's just a clogged filter. That's what we've been hearing, and or screen, whatever you want to call it. It does look pretty dirty.
That looks awful. Yeah, that's what's causing our problem.
All
I
right,
can tell you right now.
and yeah. So this gasket, guys, normally this comes off and it expands. It actually stayed on for us, so we're not going to replace it or touch it right now too much so it doesn't pop up on us.
Just like that.
All right, there we go.
Find it?
Filter's off. That looks, I mean, drop on the ground. This goes right here like that. So this is what we need to replace, guys. Because when we did a pressure test and the pressure was dropping under load, pressure, it should be 50 psi on these things, consistent when running, and 50 you put in gear and it drops to 0 when you start, you know, climbing in RPMs. This pressure is directly from this pump, so either the pump is bad or the screen. I'm gonna go with this screen. This looks pretty dirty to me, so we're gonna change this out. Hopefully this solves a serious problem with our engine. So yeah. So this is the old filter. I pried it out of the housing, and as you can see, it's dirty, guys. We punctured it by accident, but it doesn't matter. We are replacing it anyways with this new one. Look at the difference, guys, how clear it is. Unbelievable. And as you can see, the old one was warped. New one has that ring on it and is not warped. So much better condition, and I am almost 100% sure, guys, that this is our problem now. As you can see, to put it back together, you need to take the plate, and I'm just going to show you quickly how it inserts in, and then you put the pump damper, that's what this rubber piece is, on the plate. Make sure that little clip is inside of it that I showed you before, that little metal piece. That's going to make sure it fits tight to the pump. So the filter goes on and it turns like that. Make sure it lines up with the hole just like that. So we're going to do the same process, guys, but we're going to put the damper, or the clip, damper, and plate on the bottom of the filter, and then kind of wiggle the pump back on underneath. As you can see, the old one here, guys, has this gap, and that gap is warping in the housing, and that is directly because of how clogged the filter was, and that's going to cause issues running at high speeds. Other than that, the tank is in beautiful condition. The gasket stayed on somehow. Normally those pop right off, but we're going to clean out the inside, make sure it's all good. And yeah, as well, the float, spring, you can test the pump by running 12 volts across to see if it runs, which we did later, and it ran. So this is most likely our problem, guys. So I'm going to show you guys how to put this filter back on, and we're going to get it together. So first you put the clip, pump damper, and plate. You press it onto the bottom of that pump there, and then you put the filter on that circle. Make sure that that kind of hook on the filter is sticking out. Okay, you're gonna wiggle it on. Don't press too much because that housing is plastic and it will bend. Just kind of wiggle it on, and once you get it far enough, you'll be able to turn it like I showed you guys before, and that's how it locks in place. And that damper there creates like a seal almost. So as you can see, you turn it and it'll lock right in just like that, nice and tight. Perfect. So we're going to put it back into the tank, and it is going to fit nice and snug. That's a good sign, because again, this is a vacuum, it's all pressurized, it needs to be tight. And we're going to put the screws back on and put it back on the boat. There we go. There we go. All the screws are tightened. It's ready to be put back on the boat, guys. Let's get back outside. Okay, so I'm just attaching the VST back to the engine block. I attached some of the hoses that ran behind the tank before I actually screwed it back on, or tightened it back on, because some of them are hard to get at, so I need to pull them. I also cut the fuel line when I took it off, so I just reattached a new one. It was a little bit old, and might as well redo it properly. So you'll see here I am attaching hoses that are for the pressure regulation in the tank. So one of them goes to the pressure regulator and other inlets. Yeah, so then I decided to tighten the tank. I put the strainer back into the stay, and I put a new ring clamp on that line as well, because that line is highly pressurized, so that will leak if you don't. And then I attach the electrical, and I put the plate back on that covers that bottom bolt in the VST. And yeah, you can see me cutting the fuel line. That was the last thing I attached. Other than that, guys, pretty straightforward. Really easy. There's only 2 lines that'll leak liquid. All right. Just finished it. We're gonna fire her up. Good, that's good. All right, so the engine runs. We won't know for sure if that was the problem, but you know, that's how you replace the filter or screen on your vapor separator tank. And we'll see you next time on JK Fishing.